So Meta just released their UI OS design system for Figma and Unity. Today I'm going to show you the design system files for Figma and Unity. I'm going to explain you how to download them and how to take advantage of this library and packages. So if you are interested in VR UI, stay tuned until the end of the video. So let's begin. So as I explained before, Figma just released the UI set for their OS user interface, so Meta Horizon OS user interface. You can find this link in the description of the video as well. All the links of the resources we'll use today in the tutorial, the link to the Figma files, the link to the Unity package, and the link of this explanation they have in their official website, which I read through, and is more or less the structure I assembled for this tutorial. So today I'm here to explain you in a better way or more dynamic way what is the scope of this design system, what kind of things include, etc., etc. So I will start to first explaining the UI set Figma. If you click here in this link on Meta Developers, you'll go directly to this page, which allows you to observe the Figma. If you are logging in Figma, you will go directly to it, and then if you click on Open Figma, then you will open it on your device. First, we'll ask you to open in if you already installed Figma in your own device, then you will go to this page. This is a cover page, as you can see, includes the title and everything. And then these are the pages. If you are familiar with Figma, then you will know these are the pages. I'm going to explain a little bit what includes in most of the pages. Here, for example, we include a tutorial. This is a tutorial of how to use this Figma file and how to use the UI sets in Unity, which I'm going to show you later in this video. First, if you get started, then they will explain you the hierarchy of this file, which I'm going to explain you right now. Then you will see how to use this Figma file. It will show you the system, and then these are instructions of how to operate the system, how to use them and customize the system in the Unity file we will load in this video later. Okay. After this introduction tutorial, the next page is actually the foundation of the design system, as you can see in the screen. So here are the colors. You'll see this is the color palette that Meta Horizon UI is using currently. These are the degrees of the palettes. You got typography, in type of typography and fonts that they are using on the OS system. And then the haptics, how to use haptics. They also give you some sort of advice. I think I'll probably do a video about VR and haptics separately from this video. But here you can also read the guideline and to understand when to use haptics and how to more or less trigger and what kind of things you can do with haptics, the intensity and the rhythm, etc. What kind of things you can modify as a sensory input. Then you got surfaces, which are the backplate panels that are using most of the AR components in user interfaces of AR, mixed reality, even in VR. In general, the panels, as you will see, always have a backplate which covers either from reality or from the environment, so then the user and the player can interact with it without interacting directly with a button in the air. So this some sort of create a sort of space which guide the user to tell them, okay, this is your user interface, and here is the space where you can interact with a two-dimensional interface, right? Because UI mostly is two-dimensional here, but remember there's a lot of possibilities in three-dimensional UI as well, just making 3D objects interactable as well, which is something that a lot of experience are doing. Then we got spacing. So if you are interested in the guidelines of spacings, you can take a look at this example. What are the spacing numbers they are using and they are following, and then shapes, different shapes in terms of panels and sizes of those shapes. For example, small containers for app titles will be 12, etc., etc. So all this. And then you got the grid system, which is when you have a menu and a scrollable menu, for example, it's showing different elements inside. The grid system for OS is mostly a tree system. You see here, started with one. Of course, you can arrange it in your own way, but it's not as strict as we have in mobile or in web. Sometimes that we have a strict 3-column or 4-column and whatsoever structure. Here there's also a tree structure, but you can also assemble it in a more proportional manner, depending on actually what you're designing and the size of it, what is required, what the information requires to put it inside the grid, inside each of the modules of the grid system. Okay, but this is the structure of the guide. And after this foundation, what we can find is a great variety of icons, which is very useful in two sizes. They are developed in two sizes and two forms. And you can see most of these icons, a lot of them are standard icons already, but there are also a lot of icons that are not standard yet and that draw my attention particularly because they are new or related to new interactions. For example, the voice command is not a standard icon, but they are trying to propose it as a standard, or at least this is what they use in the OS as a standard guideline for voice command. For example, stationary, which means the stationary boundary where the player is situated and playing around, right? We also found like controller icons, right? Oculus controllers icons, and as well lens adjustment icons, which are also relatively new. Immersive media photo, was a 360 or immersive media photo, which is also something relatively new. So if you are having struggles developing icons for your own experience, you can also take some inspiration from this library or use them directly, which are already the standard of what Meta is using in the OS system. So before we have a lot of, not a lot, but we have a few files that you can find in Figma that offer some sort of design system for VR, for two-dimensional UI. But this is the first official file from Meta, I would say, that someone dropped into my LinkedIn contacts, and then I started to study a bit. This was just released last week, so I decided to go into and then show you guys what I have learned, what I have seen is in terms of interest or general interest. If you are interested in UI, or you have to develop some UI for VR, AR experience, or for XR, etc. So good. There's a great variety of icons that you can see here. Of course, they are already developed, these icons. And the great thing is that this system is also in Unity, as I will show you later. And then later in the next pages, we'll find, which is great, the interactable element, which is a great variety of interactable elements. You'll see labels here. These are all already animated and interactable in Unity. This is super great, super useful. And I will show you actually how they look like and how they sound like, how they behave like in terms of animation as well in Unity later in the video. So then, yeah, you got buttons, textile buttons, which are these plates over the background that are interactable. You can do air tap. You can also do right click, right, with the controller. And I will explain you those type of interactions if you are not familiar with. They also offer some sort of guideline for the interactions that I will actually show you in the headset as well. And then you got button shelves, which are the click and click again, right? Button shelves and side navigation items that you can see here. You'll see a great variety of states in terms of labels, like when you're browsing on those labels as well. And you see sliders, which are as well clickable with the hands and the controller at the same time. You can actually click them and slide them with a finger, but you can also use a controller to slide them regulate their intensity. So, sliders on different states of a component. You see default, hover, press, etc., and different states. Controls like toggles, checkbox, and radio buttons, right? Which is also very necessary for system navigation, for system operation and controllers, right? You got drop-down menus, right? And these are drop-down components that I will show you later. And you'll see if we approach all the states, and some of these are selectable. Change the color with the hover, right? The hover effect, and then they also offer some guideline for the spacing. In terms of designing the spacing as well, then you got tooltips, which are these prompt messages that appear from some sides of the navigations and the buttons at the same time. You see these are different type of tooltips and at the same time different states. Search bars and navigations, they usually trigger the keyboard, right? This transparent keyboard that we have, and in some cases you can set up your own keyboard as a physical keyboard at the same time, but these search bars, once you click it, they trigger a keyboard that appears on space where you can actually input something. And then text fields, which are also necessary, and then you got the text fields which also give you messages of feedback, which are very useful. So you see, as in terms of heuristic, they are very thought about this. So you got like positive values or values that need to be reviewed by the user, and then you got dialogue messages, different type of dialogues, right? Progression bars, which are very useful and common, particularly for onboarding. We are designing on onboarding, these are very useful. And then you have different types here. You have an onboarding on the gray, then the onboarding on the image, on the background image. And then you got prompts, which are very useful messages as well. Another type of prompt, different state. And there you go, different type of titles. So interactable elements, all these elements, again, they are in Unity. We'll see it later. And here they also offer some sort of guideline for using the controllers, like images on good resolution, appropriate resolution for the controllers, left and right, and different sides, different perspectives of the controllers. And then avatar hands. These are different avatar hands with different gestures as well, that if you need to create onboarding, so you need to create any other guidelines or interaction, you can use these images as well. You can use these custom hands, transparent hands. And here's where I want to go, the affordances, because as you may know or you may not know, we have more or less three types of interactions. You have a cast interaction, array cast interaction, and you have interaction which is two fingers in Oculus, which is clicking by this. So you'll see, I will show you in Unity. We have this type of interaction, which is two finger tapping, right? And once you tap, you are clicking something by your hands in this direction, and you also have finger tap at the same time. So if there's a panel, you can actually click it, and it will have some sort of animation feedback coming back forth, and sound feedback as well. So there are different type of pointers. When you are pointing through the controller, you point through the controller in general, you will see something like this, like ray, which is called ray aiming. We have some sort of ray directly pointing to the place where you are going to click, right? You will have, when you point with your hands, as they say, you have the open hand, the pointer will look like this. Then if it's almost pinched, right, it will look like this. And if it's pinched already, it will look like this, right, like this side. So and these are cursors, different type of cursors. If you are in text field, of course you click, then it will appear this mark, vertical mark, right? Then if the component is pressed, if the component is pressed on component, if it's pressed and by default, okay? But we have essentially three types of interactions, which are the interaction directly with the controller, pointing array and clicking on the interface. Then you have type of interaction where you use your hands, but you use your 2 fingers to tap on something and click on something, and then you have also finger pointing, which is finger clicking on it, and you'll see your fingers and clicking on tabs. So this if this is new to you, you are more than welcome to explore this library, because it will give you a very good background on what you can learn in terms of affordances and interactions on VR. Then of course you also have a gamepad possibility to play, and then keyboard interactions. So these are more or less components, but here what I want to highlight is that people are already is not very familiar with this type of affordances in VR. You can take a look and look at also these are the components, and they are automatically triggered on the SDKs of the Oculus already. So it's easy to program, and you can communicate with your programmers in a more fluent way. And I think the whole sense of this, having these files either in Figma and having them in Unity, is that the communication and the workflow in terms of streamline works better. You can communicate with your developers if you are a designer, and if you are a developer at the same time, you can speak the same language because they are the same elements either in Figma or in Unity, and proposed by the same perspective, the same interactions. In case you have to use Oculus, we can also use them in other, I would say, in other experiences that not directly goes for Oculus as well, and take the whole consideration for guidelines, because most of the headsets are trying to follow similar, I would say, similar structures. Now, in terms of templates, these are the environments in general where we see when we are interacting with the background environments and the home in Oculus. That we see in onboarding sessions or in example sessions, as well in home or in other when you customize your home as well inside Oculus. Here, these are pattern templates that you can take a look on it, also observe how they are designed. Here, these are scrollable elements, right? You will see here also different this type of distributions. You have like a navigation bar, and then labels as well, other type of labels with plate in the background, right, and image inside, etc. Different type of patterns that may be useful for you as well. Player, for example, player in the background. So you had to present a video or introduce some sort of onboarding, and also take a look on these components. Okay? They are all already interactable in Unity as well. They are usable inside this library, so you'll see their components are inside of this, and you will also take a look on the guideline of resolution. For example, this one is 1024x688 as a player, and this have the same resolution. There are certain resolutions that are standard for VR that we know there are certain degrees, right? And at 1 meter, 1.5 meter, the player it has certain amount of resolution per eye, and the distance is already calculated at 1.5 meter of distance between the UI panel that you are designing and the player. Okay, here are just file menus. It's an example of file menus, samples of touch, right? Another examples, input examples, etc. And here you will see what I was talking to you about, this input with the hands, right? You'll see the different states of the ray, okay, the rayon. And I think this is all in Figma, but then we'll go to it's super useful. You'll see there's plenty of components here, particularly the icons and the UI components. Take a look on all of them. They all have their own very well structured composition. They are very well grouped, and they are very well developed. As Meta usually develop very clean user interfaces. And then after this, now I'm going to show you the Unity side of the same design component library, or the same design component. Okay, so now I'll minimize this window of Figma, and I will go through here, and here you can find the Meta Interaction XR Interaction SDK. In my case, I already have open Unity, and I have connected my headset to show you how does it look like. And here, if you click here directly, you will go to your Unity asset store. Okay, then you will see this. I will leave you this link in the description, so you can directly go ahead and download it. And once you are in your Unity asset store, then you click here, right, and then you download it on Unity. So now I will open Unity. I'll go to, once you download it, you will see the package here. So you have to download this called Meta XR Interaction SDK. Okay, remember the name. If you click here, of course you'll open it in Unity. I will ask you here to open. In my case, I'm not logged in, but I already downloaded. So for your case, I think you have to log in. And in my case here, I create an empty project. So I create an empty project, and then I'll go to this. This is your package. All right. So once you download the package, when you click, after you click here, so after you click here, okay, so after you click here, you will see there's a click to download this package in Unity. So please go ahead and download this package. Once you download it, you will see here your package in Unity. You will see the version history, the description, right? It will tell you what everything that includes. Version history, dependents, samples, images, etc. Okay, so you have to download this package to see all the UI component library on Unity, as well as I will actually highlight and recommend you to make sure that you have everything, all the XR packages. If you want to really try on your headset, I recommend you to make sure that you have all the packages that run Oculus. For example, this Meta XR Interaction SDK Essentials, Meta XR Interaction SDK, this XR Plugin Management as well. So make sure you have all the packages that need to be running for a VR project, or set up your VR project to observe the library in Unity. Okay, and after that, I will so make sure that you have in build settings, you are building for Android. So then you will see your headset connected here. In my case, I have an Oculus Quest 2 connected here. So make sure that you are building for Android, and then make sure you have installed the Android package. First, also make sure that you add the scenes that you're actually opening on at the same time. And I will also probably take a look on edit project settings. Once you install the package, you may have to go to the Meta XR here. These are experimental actions. But if you click in Meta XR, I will recommend you here to, you may have some errors. So I recommend you to fix them. You can actually click here and fix them. In the same here, if you click on the dedicated server here and fix all those issues that you may have, that Unity is capable to fix them, to fix most of them, to run the package well and to run via project. And at the same time, if you go to here again, project settings and XR plugin, remember to click on Oculus so that you can run your project on Oculus. Okay, so here, either in Android and here, you click on Oculus so that you can run the UI library on your Oculus. Got it? So again, remember to file, build settings, check that you're building for Android, as well as make sure that you have connected your Oculus headset. At the same time, make sure that you have a Quest Oculus. I don't know how they name it right now. It used to be called Oculus Link. You know, this thing change the names, but if you go to devices, then your device should be connected. So like mine is connected already. At the same time, if I go to Unity and then build settings, then I should see my headset. You're refreshing here, I'll see the list of headsets I may have connected my headset. In my case, I only have one. And then you close here, and I will also recommend you again, edit, project settings, go to XR plugin management, and remember to click on Oculus here. Yeah, either click here and Oculus and click here and Oculus at the same time. And then in Meta XR, fix the issues that may appear once you install the library, just in case. And then close here. Now, another thing that is important to know is that if you click on the package manager, remember the package manager is here, it will appear once you download it from the internet immediately. It will appear in Unity, but remember you go to panels and then package manager, and then here in project, I will click on Meta XR Interaction SDK Essentials, and here make sure you go to samples. Here, SDK, not SDK Essentials. Sorry. So here in Meta XR Interaction SDK, make sure you click on example scenes. So in my case, I import all the feature scenes, tools, etc. But make sure in your project you import the VR ready UI. It comes in this first one, which is called example scenes. So it's a package of all example scenes, and one of them is actually the scene of this UI design system. So remember to click here and import it at the same time. Now, another thing that is important to know is that if you click on the package manager, remember the package manager is here, it will appear once you download it from the internet immediately. It will appear in Unity, but remember you go to panels and then package manager, and then here in project, I will click on Meta XR Interaction SDK Essentials, and here make sure you go to samples. Here, SDK, not SDK Essentials. Sorry. So here in Meta XR Interaction SDK, make sure you click on example scenes. So in my case, I import all the feature scenes, tools, etc. But make sure in your project you import the VR ready UI. It comes in this first one, which is called example scenes. So it's a package of all example scenes, and one of them is actually the scene of this UI design system. So remember to click here and import it at the same time. Now, how to make sure that your scene is actually imported? If you go to your project folder, then you can go to Meta XR Interaction SDK here. You go to your assets inside this tree, and you go to samples here, assets, Oculus here. You got samples, and inside the samples you will have one folder which is for Interaction SDK Essentials, and one is for the Interaction SDK. Inside this version, which is the 6901, you can click on example scenes, and then you will see this UI set example. Now, something that I want to highlight here is that this scene is a VR ready scene, but it's not the recommendable scene that it's not the the resource or the library that I will suggest you to use. They have the UI library, and the package is in another directory, which I will show you later. But first, differentiate what is the VR ready library, and then the library that is for using as a resource later in your project. Once you are actually wanted to use this UI library, you want to use all those components, including the animations, the sounds, and the interactions, and all the scripts that include, then I will show you the directory later. Okay. But first, this is the UI set example. If you double click here, you will go to scene, and then you'll see this is actually the UI sample. So it's a VR ready scene. Okay, these are all for the sake of demonstration, so you can go there, click, and play it immediately, and you'll see there. We'll see now. I will try to play it. I'll show you a little bit how they look like and how they behave like in terms of UI interface. And then after that, I will show you where is actually the real library of resources, and then I will show you how to copy those resources and how to use them. Got it? So for now, if we want to just experience it and know what kind of interactable elements are on this design system, so we click on that file that we just download from the package, right? In example scenes, UI set examples. Okay, you double click here, you will open this library, and then you will see there is also in this scene there are different components. Right? We have this canvas module, a large room, which is the room that is surrounded, and then we have a content root, which is all the content, the UI content. So you will see all these patterns and all these are actually in the UI elements inside. All these patterns, some of them activated in the beginning, some of them not. They will activate once you trigger something. But all the content root is actually the UI content on a scene. And then in the OVR camera, then we have a player, right? So this will be our player. If we go to the top view, then you'll see this is the player in front of a menu, and this is what we'll see. So for now, I'll try to unlock my headset. And then try to unlock my headset. So I will go to click play and show you, take a look how this library looks in the scene. So you probably can see the headset. See, I'm seeing actually all the menus here, UI components, different labels, interactable. If I click on something, there's sound. I can scroll down, scroll up, I can click the search bar. Here I also can explore most of the UI elements inside the. Here I can actually scroll also, observe the labels, and you'll see all those labels are actually with a hover effect and clickable elements, etc. So here I think in this panel I cannot click because the table is cutting me a little bit, but I want to show you with the controller. See, we have now this other type of interaction, which is the array, right? And before we also have this interaction that is click, right? That I wanted to show you. And we also have this type of interaction that you will see on screen. I hope you can see my hands on screen. It's possible for you to see my hands? Yes, possible. So you will see now I'm trying to look at this button, control, slider, input field, and dialog. These are different type of controllers. If I click here, then I will see a drop-down menu and controllers. So for example, I can click the radio button. I can probably click the toggle as well. I'm not sure. Toggle here, yes. Then the checkbox, and then the radio button. Then I can actually click here on the title and then go to different titles, etc. Here are different typos. I think here at the same time different type of navigations. And then in the slider we'll see, I think we saw buttons. Let's see, let me click. These are all the buttons. I'm going to approach so you can see on the screen all the buttons and all the labels. These are the tile buttons that we taught in Figma. You'll see these are the labels, different type of labels, icon and stretch icons. You'll see this type of more oval style icon, right? And then button shelf, which I click it, and then if you click it, then click it back. I'm going to move the microphone here a little bit so that I won't crash with it. And here, for example, this button shelf, which is alright. So yeah, you can see here they also have like different themes. You will see themes of the dark theme, which is already activated. You can see probably on screen. You can also see there are some light themes. I'm not sure if I can click from here. You will see it's all white and lightful, and you see all this theme is already animated, prepared, and the whole design system is in Unity and Figma at the same time. And then they also have some custom. You can customize this system. I will show you where you have to look at it and where you can get the components in Unity to customize these colors. And then yes, we also have another customized theme in terms of UI, which is wonderful. I think you can see here all the details are actually programmed. You see everything is already there. Very useful, very useful. Okay, maybe I will just try to. Okay. So something I want to show you here is that as we mentioned before, there is in this scene we have a content root, and I want to show you actually the animations that we have in the content. So I think I will try to find, as you can see here, you will see the UI buttons, controls, sliders, input field, UI, which are this panel. So you'll see these panels more or less. You got button, control, slider, input field, and dialog. You will see these are actually the main part or the main pages of this navigation of the UI, or the main sides or edges of the controller of the UI, the main dimensions of this UI. So we have buttons, controllers, and etc. So for now, I want to go to UI buttons. I want to show you something, which is, I got to the button here, buttons, to the button shelf, and then here, this is something that is something I want to explain to you, is that here we have buttons, and you'll see here, for example, each of these buttons, for example, in the button shelf, the first one, this is button shelf icon and label, this is a name. You will see the components of the button, and then you'll see there are 5 actually animations of 5 states which are already animated. And then if I scroll down, then I'll see this. If I double click here, then I will see the animator controller, which is controlling all the states of that button. So then if I try to go to Unity and play it, then it should show me the states of that button. So I would probably go there, try to see if we can see when I'm actually clicking and the difference on those states, if they are changing automatically or not. So let's try to play it. Play it here. Try to adjust. So now that I'm inside, then I'll try to go to buttons, as I mentioned in the menu, button, and then you have the button shelf. So if I probably pass through this, you will probably see in the screen the animations are changing, right? This is highlighted, preset. See, if I pass my finger here, these animations are changing, and then once I click it, then you'll see the state changes as highlighted. Okay. Exactly. So then you will see how its states of animation are changing automatically. So all these animations are already incorporated on the UI. So you just have to use these elements. You can use it for your own UI, and they are already animated, scripted, and you can see they are actually working on the Oculus Horizon OS. So you can work for your project as well. You can see it here. I'll just click. All the animation is actually passing to every time I click here, or I pass my finger, it's triggering different states because it's made with an animator controller. It's this one that you can see on screen. Okay, so that it was something that I really want to show you. So you see how the states are actually changing. They are already animated. They incorporate the animation, the animator controller for each of them. For example, this is the shelf, the first icon, and these are the animator controllers. It's the animator controller that we were looking at right now. All right, so we'll stop here, this, and then something that I wanted to show you here, that if you click on the content root, then you will see actually these are the different themes that are activated by us once we click on here, right, on this side of the theme menu. Then you will see, if we go to content root, you will see the UR theme manager. We actually develop a manager, which is a script in C#, and you'll see there are different components, and these components are actually themes that change or switch the color of each of them. So you can actually click them. You will see here inside, these are the colors of that theme that we see on the menu of the UI. So we'll see these are the light, the dark one, and these are two brand examples. Remember the orange, and there was this one. It's also an example. So we got these two, so the light theme and the dark theme. You will see it here. Now something that I want to explain you is that this we already imported this VR Ready scene, but we also have from the package, we can directly use the library in Unity, the library that we just saw in Figma, right? We can use it in Unity. And where to find it? Once we download the package, we have to find it in the project folder. So we go to our project folder here, and we go to Meta Interaction SDK Essentials here, and under the runtime folder, the runtime folder here, we open the sample folder. Once we open the sample folder, we go to objects, and after the objects, we'll find a folder called UI Set. And this folder UI Set, you will have all the animations of the UI, the prefabs, the scenes, scripts, textures, and also themes. If I go to themes, you will see all the themes that are here, and these are actually the themes that we already saw. Then you will go to the animations. You'll see the different animations for different themes, right? The clickable animations of a UI, the prefabs as well. You'll find the patterns, different type of prefabs and with the components inside, the scripts, everything very well organized. And you will find two scenes, that one is for UI set and the other one is UI set pattern. Now, once you download it, you can actually not open it directly due to restrictions of Unity. So even we download the package from Meta and from the Unity asset stores, you have to copy these ones, these two scenes, and you can copy them into the asset folders. So you can, here for example, I copy them and went to scene, assets, scene, and then paste them in my scenes in assets. Once you paste it and you put them on the scene folder here, you can open them. And if I open them, then you will see this is a much more, it's not a VR ready file, because in the left you can see the hierarchy, there's not a player, but you will see very well organized the design system with all the components we saw in Figma. We saw all these components in Figma, prompts, dialogue, etc. All the elements that we already interact in VR. And the content root, then you will see all these elements, right? So you got the theme buttons, all the details of the buttons, all the details of themes and all the components for different themes on the UI. As well, everything, control, slider, dialogue, etc., etc. So here, these are the components that actually will be useful for you to use on your project. You can actually take these components and customize them and copy them into your project and use them for because they are already into your asset folder. So you can actually use them as a clickable element, as a ready element, and they already contain their own animations. For example, if we go to the buttons here, you'll see they have all the properties. Now, something that is want to show you here is that in the content root of all this UI design system, you will see all these components are ready for poke interactable user interaction. Okay, this is also for pointable canvas using the controller as well, and for ray interactable, right? So there are these three type of interactions, so these three main type of interactions, and they are all already scripted. So all these components inside it work for those three type of interactions on the headset. So it's a very resourceful library, I would say. And you will see also you have these themes, sample themes that you will see here, and you will see it here on the library. If we want to explore each of the components, you will see here all these components in this scene that is not a VR ready, it's actually the library, the actual library. You'll see these elements here. If I click, for example, this bottom and then I go to the content, then you'll see all the elements that are actually editable for you. So you can edit this component, for example, the icon, text, the label, okay, what actually the label says. Okay, I am a label, I'm a label, etc. If we go to, for example, let's see the sliders area. I think in the sliders area we try to open it here. You'll see the sliders here. These are all already components. You'll see here labels, etc. Small slider here. So once you click them and you see they are actually blue, these are already prefabs. So these are components that are in the package that you can just drop from the folder to your Unity project and or duplicate them. So if you modify them directly on your project folder, then they will be modified on once you add it on the scene, right? As Unity work in this method of prefabs, right? So here, for example, now if you click onto the other scene, you will see the other one that we also copied into the scene folder from the package folder to the asset folder. You will see there are also some custom UI examples that you will see inside the screen. I'll make the screen bigger. So then you will see this these labels, these examples of UI that you can actually use directly. This Horizon OS UI example patterns, and you will see these are different views and screens we already saw. This is a player with an animation, probably video or a casting option. It's a player here. Then titles and drop-down menus, over the scroll, etc., etc. So these are more or less pre-set examples of UI patterns, and you can find them directly. If you go to the content root again, you'll see they are also available for these themes, and these also themes that you can personalize later on here on the folder here, for example. So all the contents. This is the video player elements. Here you will see this is the canvas root, etc., etc. Okay, so you can find all the elements of the library inside these two scenes that don't have, or they not contain any player in that we found before in scene and UI set pattern. Okay, and these are all prefabs that you are modifiable, so you can modify them in Unity and to your purpose, or to the idea or the approach you are taking to design a user interface into VR. And now, where to find the elements? You can always copy them or use them directly from the package. If you go to your project folder again, you go to packages, and then again runtime, sample, objects, you'll find a prefab folder with all, for example, these are the back plates, the buttons. These are all the prefab buttons, so you can actually use them, add them into your scene directly. Alright, so this was an overall of what you can find in the two files, either in the Figma file of all these editable components you can find in this design system, as well in the Unity one. Remember to set up, you can set up and try, and if you like some of those components, then you can copy them and use them into your projects, and it will probably reduce a lot of time on your workflow, and it will also help you to guide you in how to design UI or user interface, two-dimensional user interfaces for VR or XR experiences. And I hope you like this content. This was just released last week, and there's a lot of potential on these elements, and either in Figma and Unity, and I will leave all the resources and the links in the description. So if you have any questions, please let me know, and if you want to learn something about VR, XR, or a little bit more about UI in VR, you just let me know, let me comment in below the video. I hope the content was useful for you. Remember to subscribe, and see you next time.